Hello, parents. I wanted to introduce you to ThatQuiz.org. Here is the web address up here, and I'm going to show you how you can get into what we're doing this week is going back over graphs, interpreting and analyzing graphs. We're not working with bar graphs at this moment. I do want to retest your children on how many more and how many fewer using picture graphs. So I'm going to change this over here to picture graph. I'm going to take the bar graph off so we don't see any of those. The students did pretty good with how many. They can tell you which ones has the most, which ones have, well, the most is maximum, and which ones have the least or minimum. But where they're struggling is right here with difference. So I'm going to change the length right here to open. Now, when I assign the quiz this week, I'm going to assign 20 problems, and they're going to be tested on those. How many more and how many fewer questions? I think this mostly just does how many more in these questions. But I want to start here at level one. I'm going to give them a quiz on level one and then a quiz on level two. They won't be timed, so we're going to leave the timer off. Leave the feedback off as well, unless you just want to be able to know why your child may have missed it while you're going through the problem, so you can better explain why they missed what they missed. But I did want to show you all what's going on when we're asking how many more or how many fewer. So the question says, Dave stayed home how many more days than Ben? So we're going to look at the picture graph. We're pulling out the names Dave and Ben. So we're going to look right here. We have Dave, and then right here we have Ben. So it's asking how many more. The way they asked it, it says Dave stayed how many more days. So that lets you know that Dave stayed home more days than Ben. But how many more? This is where the kids are getting confused. They either want to count how many days Dave stayed home and say four is the answer, or they want to count how many days Ben stayed home and say that is the answer. But this is incorrect. So I've been teaching them one strategy the most is to make partners. So I tell them that you're just going to take um, your pencil and a scratch piece of paper and draw circles to represent Ben. So you draw two circles. And then for Dave, you draw four circles. And then you make partners. So I'm showing you right on here how you make partners. I'm just going to drag my cursor from here to here. So that's one partner. And then on the next row, that's another partner. And as you can see, Dave has two more. That's 2 more days that he was home than Ben. So the answer would be 2. So although the answer is how many more days that Dave stay home than Ben, the answer is 2. If they ask the answer as in how many fewer days or how many less days that Ben stay home than Dave, then the answer would still be the same. So this is a skill that children are really struggling with. So I'm going to show you what happens when I press OK. So over here, it lets you know if you got it right or you got it wrong. And whether you turn the timer or not, this clock is going to run. So I'm going to do one more. Ken read how many more books than Carl? Okay, so the way that this question is stated lets you know that Ken read more than Carl. So we're looking at Ken and looking at Carl. But how many more? It's not 4 more because they're not asking how many they can read. And it's not 2 because they're not asking how many that Carl read. But they want to know how many more they can read than Carl. What number of books do they have the same? Carl has 2 and Ken has 2. So these would be our 2 partners right here. So how many more that Ken read than Carl? These 2 right here. So I'm going to put 2 right here. And I can either press Enter or go to OK. And as you can see, it shows you right here um, that I got another one right. So I'm going to show you for level 2, the numbers increase a bit. So I'm going to give them a quiz on this as well because this is a skill they have to master in first grade. Not only is this important to analyzing and interpreting graphs, it's also important to be able to answer word problems. So here we are. How many more sedans were rented than vans? There is that phrase, how many more? That right there lets you know you're going to make partners. Other ways we talked about how to solve these problems is to set up a subtraction problem. So we have sedans and we have the vans. So we have how many sedans? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight sedans. So eight, take away zero vans is eight. The answer would be eight. Another way that I've already just spoke to you about is making partners. We don't have anything to make partners with for the sedans and the vans. So the answer is going to be automatically eight because eight of them don't have a partner. And another way we talked about was starting with the smaller number and counting up to the big number. We started at zero vans. And how many would it take to get to eight sedans? It would take eight. So that's our answer. So as you see again over here, it shows you how many you have right. And of course, the clock is going to go whether you set the timer or not. Now, the next question, it says, how many more coupes were rented than Jeeps? So I'm trying to get the children to hear how many more. Some of them are just missing this phrase, how many more. They need to know immediately, oh, how many more we're going to make partners. So we're comparing coupes and Jeeps. So you go up here to the picture graph and find coupes and Jeeps. And without even making partners, although I can still make those partners, without making partners, I see that these four up here do not have a partner. So coupe has four more than Jeep. What do they have the same? They both have at least four cars. These are concepts you want to discuss with children because they have a hard time grasping how many more, how many fewer. So our answer is four. So I'm going to put four here. All right, and then hit OK. Or again, you can hit enter, it doesn't matter. So I did want to show you all that because these are quizzes that your child are going to get this week. Let me go back to the home screen because I want to show you other things you can go ahead and start practicing with your child on, and that's fact fluency. So what you're going to do is go to arithmetic, and I like to start them at the lowest level, but the length can be open. But I'm going to set it at 20 because you want your child to be able to do 20 problems in 1 minute. So the level I'm going to start at is 2. I'm sorry they don't have a level 0 or level 1. I'm going to do those in class on paper, have them add with 0 and add with 1. But this starts on level 2. Now for starting out, don't start the timer. Just leave it at none and see if they can solve them as quick as they can. So I'm going to go down here to focused. Okay, and that's just going to make it where each problem has plus 2. It won't be in a range from 0 to 2. It's just going to have whatever plus 2. So I'm going to set this at addition and I can get started. So again, we're not going to set the timer. I'm starting out, just let them go, see how long it takes, and let them work it out. Use circles on a piece of paper, use their fingers to solve. I've discussed the count on strategy with quite a few of them. So that's where you take the bigger number and you hold up the smaller number on your hand or with your fingers. So I would hold up 2 fingers and I would go 5, and with my fingers 5. With my fingers I would count on 6, 7. So the answer is 7. So again, you just let them work through these problems. They can draw them out with circles, use their fingers, no pressure. Just let them take their time and answer until they get good enough to be able to be timed. I'm just going to show you what happens when I get to the end. And again, you can either turn the feedback on or off. But when you're timing, don't put the feedback on there. Just leave it off. All right. So, um, what the feedback would do. So at the end, if I had the feedback turned on, it would just tell you which problems they missed. Um, but I'll have to check that to make sure. I will do one. I'll do another example. We'll see how that works. Um, so right here it tells you my score, how many problems I completed, and this will tell you how much time it took me right here. Um, how many seconds I spent on average on each problem, how many problems I got right, how many more an answer, all of that. So let me go back and show you. I'm turn the feedback on. Let's see how it does. I haven't used it in a while. So let's see. You just hit reset. I'm just gonna change the length because I want to see what it does. I don't need to do that many. Let's see what the feedback turned on does. See, so the feedback kind of shows what it shows with that check. kind of slows up the problems. Okay, so I'm gonna get one wrong. So that's why I said I'm gonna get one wrong. I'm gonna get one wrong. So you see right here how the clock is still running, and it kind of slows up the progress. So don't turn on the feedback. Just leave it off. What it will do at the end, if you got anything wrong, so I'm gonna reset this. I'm gonna show you. If I turn the feedback off and I just go through these 5 problems, and at the end it will give you feedback on what was missed. So I'll show you. So see right here, here's feedback. This way, feedback at the end of the problems won't affect how long it takes your child to solve. Okay, so let me show you another way to do it. So when your child gets good enough, remember, set the length at 20. Um, Again, the lowest level you can do is 2. Make sure it's on focused. And I'm going to change it so you can see. Since I had it on level 2, it was just adding with 2. So if I put it on 3, it's going to just be adding with 3. And then I'm going to turn the timer on 1 minute once my child has practiced enough with it. And then I'm just going to go. And as you can see, the clock over here is set for 1 minute. Instead of it just running up, it's going to run down. So let's see how I do. And the quickest way for your children to answer these is not to use the mouse or the cursor, but to hit enter after they type the number in. It's much faster. And I'm using the back button when I make a mistake, so that's another quick way to get rid of the wrong answer. So again, the goal is to have your child to complete 20 problems in 1 minute. So right here, you see, I still had a little time to spare. And it took me 43 seconds to answer 20 problems, and I got 1 incorrect. Again, if you don't set the feedback on it, it'll give you the feedback at the end, letting you know which problems you missed. Okay, and you can click on it to go back and show you what you typed in, and you can choose to see the correct answer. And that's all I wanted to share with you tonight. As you can see, you can also change it to subtraction. I will first work on mastering that addition first. Um, there are other things on here you can play with, but I'll go over those at a later time. But I did want to let you know about the reassessment on the graphs, using picture graphs. That was how many more problems. And I thank y'all so much for working with your children at home. And I look forward to an awesome year